talk about the new CEO of Chipotle. His name is Scott Boatwright. This is him. Looks like he's about to sell me a used car. Now, he's got an annual salary of around $1 million, which sounds, I guess, somewhat reasonable for a CEO of a mega business like Chipotle, especially when you consider that the previous CEO, Brian Niccol, was making around $23 million per year at the end of his tenure at Chipotle. If you don't know who Brian Niccol is, he's the guy who recently came out and said, if your portions are a little bit small on the meat, just make a face. That's that guy. He started working at Chipotle in 2018, and the stock price was around $500 per share. Under this guy's leadership, Chipotle went from $500 a share to over $3,000 per share. So it's safe to say that he did a good job. It was only kind of towards the end of his tenure when things started to kind of take a turn for the worse with, smaller portions and really expensive pricing. Now, you might be looking at Chipotle stock and go, oh my God, it's like $51 a share right now. Boy, it really took a tumble after this guy left. Well, you'd be missing out on something very important, which is Chipotle had a massive 50-for-1 stock split in 2024. So the stock price split. So from $3,000, it went down to around $56 per share after the split. So that means that under his tenure, the stock went up almost 500% because it was $500 when he started, but split adjusted, it would be around $10 per share when he started and around $58 when he left. Brian Niccol started at Taco Bell, went to Chipotle, and now he's at Starbucks. So let's see if he can turn Starbucks around. But in the meantime, we have Mr. Boatwright, who has an executive MBA and for almost 20 years worked at Arby's, which I didn't even know was still a thing that people went to. And like I said, he's earning $1 million a year with some various types of bonuses based on, revenue growth and sales and all of that stuff, and $13 million in stock options, which will be vested out over the course of many years. Which means if he's a great CEO, yes, he only has $1 million salary, but he's going to get 13 million in shares that could dramatically increase in price if he's good, or if he's bad, not increase. Imagine for a moment that you are the new CEO of Chipotle, which is a pretty large company, and you're sitting around going, all right, guys, revenue is down, same-store sales are down. What are we going to do to turn business around? And your brilliant idea of someone who has an executive master's of business administration degree suggests this. All right, guys, here's the plan. We're going to revolutionize our business, and it all starts and ends with a smile. That's it, a smile. That's your brilliant strategy? Smile more, be nice, give a heartfelt thank you when the person pays? Are you fucking kidding? Robin, what do you think Chipotle should do? Any answer? Nothing? Okay. A steak burrito is $11.40. If you add guacamole, it's almost $3 more. If you're crazy like me and you want double steak, it's $5.60 more. That brings the grand total to $19.85 for one burrito, which I think is insane. But the smiling, it works at Chick-fil-A. Their food's also affordable. Look, all things considered, I actually like Chipotle. I think their food is good, albeit a little bit on the salty side. But I think Chipotle could get a lot more feet in the door if they did something kind of shocking. Lower your prices. Now, a lot of people say, whoa, hold on. I'm a shareholder. I'm investing in this company. Lower prices, that's not good. But I think it could be. Think about all the companies that offer low everyday pricing that get people in the door and they spend more as a result. Walmart, Costco, for example, right? You get hit with that $1.50 hot dog and a soda. How can you pass that up? This usually works best for brands that can scale and are optimized for huge volume. And lowering the prices can't lower the quality, in this case, of the food. Imagine if Chipotle said, okay, guys, we hear you. Maybe telling our staff to smile was a stupid idea. Maybe instead we'll cut prices. So from $11 to, say, $9. Or maybe guacamole will now be half off permanently. If you want to make your customers happy, it doesn't start by some bullshit phony smile where you tell your staff, okay, guys, make sure you smile at every single person who comes in the door. And then when it doesn't work, they say, well, it's our staff's fault. They just weren't smiling hard enough. How about this instead? You get to the end, you're ready to pay for your burrito, and every single customer is offered an option. Would you like free chips and salsa, free chips and queso, or a free large drink? Your choice. Every single time. What about extra meat being half price, like it used to be, like as an incentive to get people into the door? Or if you order a burrito bowl, it's not 50 cents anymore, it's free, like it used to be, as an incentive to get people in the door. Like when I go to Costco, I know that the milk is gonna be a little bit cheaper. I know that the roast chicken is gonna be a little bit cheaper. It's a way that they get me in the door, so I spend more. I don't know. I just can't imagine being a CEO with a master's in business, getting paid $1 million a year, and your big idea is to tell your staff to smile.